Question 2. 3. 3, yes? Okay. Bakery making fruit pies. And they operate for 7 days a week. These are the pies that they make each day. Part A, evaluate the matrix. P equals to 7m. Okay. I believe that shouldn't be a problem, but I'll just include it because it is going to be required for the subsequent parts. P equals to 7m. So 7 times 70, 50, 40, 30, 30, and 30. So this gives us 490, 350, 280, 210, 210, and 210. Okay? This is all okay for you? Although they did not ask you for the meaning behind it, do you know what it means over here? What are they trying to tell you? Okay, so for example, what does this element here represent? This 210 that I circled. I will describe it. What is this? Medium cherries? It is not a full sentence. Medium cherry pies in 1 week. Missing information. Amount or number? Number of medium cherry pies made in 1 week. Okay? So this is the assumption that every day they make the same number of pies. Okay so far? Right. Now for part B, small pies, they cost 75 cents, $1.50 and $2.25 to make. Represent them in a 3 by 1 column matrix. What does the 3 represent? The 3 by 1. What does the 3 represent? No? The 3 by 1. What does this 3 represent? Rows. It is always rows then columns. So number of rows will be 3, 1 column only. So this is n. 0.75, 1.50, 2.25. Now I want to check, do you have 2 decimal place, including for your 1.50? Have it? 2 decimal places? Why must it be 2 dp? It refers to money. So even though this is inside a matrix, they mean something. In this case, it is money, so you follow the 2 dp rule. Part C, evaluate T equals to Pn. So 490, 280, 210, and so on and so forth, 0.75, blah blah blah. Who needs me to go through the matrix multiplication? Anybody? No, then you will arrive at one, 2, 6, 0, 1, 0, 5, 0. I need a show of hands. How many of you got this correct? Okay, now I need a show of hands. How many of you got it correct without referring to textbook or homework? Correct, without referring. Okay, good. Because as of now, you would have achieved 4 marks. Standard questions, right? Next. State what each of the elements T represents. So the way to tackle this question is to look at our original. T equals to Pn. So like I said, you must put in all the labels. Here we have small, medium, large, and they refer to our apple and cherry, right, for our P. And then you were able to tell me that actually those numbers refer to the number of pies made in 1 week. Then now this second matrix, it is actually a cost. Oh, sorry, is it? Yeah, cost. Then we had 3 of them, small, medium, and large. Yes? When we do matrix multiplication, information is removed. In this case, which of these headers are removed? Small, medium, large, because they are the ones common, okay? So we remove all of them already. Now what is left? Cost, apple, cherry. Logically, obviously, cost must be here, right? Then this must be apple and this must be cherry. So does this give you a better understanding of what the matrix represents now? So what do the elements represent? So always start off like this. The elements represent the total, because every time we do matrix multiplication, there is this addition. You multiply, you add, multiply, add, multiply, add. So adding all of them up gives us a total. Elements represent total cost of making apple and cherry pies respectively in a week. So all this information must be in. Okay, first key point, total cost. It came from this one over here. Total cost. Making apple, cherry pies. Next word, respectively. You must have this word respectively, because if you don't say respectively, I do not know which is for apple, which is for cherry. Get it? Then of course, in this case, it is in a week, because we used 7 multiplied by m to get 7 days. The number made in 7 days. Okay, so apple, cherry obviously must also be in because they are the labels of our matrix. So this is a standard way of describing what elements represent after you do matrix multiplication. Part E. Now part E can be done using matrices, but it also can be done without using matrices. Your answer booklet already shows you how to do it with matrices. I will now show you without using matrices. Can? But first, do you understand the question? Understand? Don't understand? Okay. The bakery sells each pie for 40% more than it costs to make. This sentence can understand? Can understand, Jolene? First sentence, can understand? So he's making a profit, right? Obviously, must make a profit. So if one pie costs $1 to make, how much does he sell it for? $1? Hey, come on. If it costs $1 to make, how much is he selling it for? $1.40, yes. 1 week, they sold 6 out of 7 of each size of the apple pies. Did they sell all the apple pies? Did they sell all the small apple pies? No, for each size. So for the small apple pies, they only sold 6 out of 7. For the medium apple pie, they sold 6 out of 7. For the large, they sold 6 out of 7. Then for the cherry pies, similar relationship, but this time it is 4 out of 5. Can you tell me 6 out of 7 bigger or 4 out of 5 bigger? Which is a bigger fraction? Try again. 6 out of 7, how much is that? It's 0.85. Then 4 out of 5 is just 0.8. Okay, number sense, you must have a gauge of which numbers are bigger. The unsold pies were given away. So if you are doing a business like this, you didn't manage to sell all your pies, do you still want to make a profit? Even though you don't sell everything, do you still want to make a profit? Yes, of course you want to make a profit. So you cannot sell them at cost price, right? You must be selling them at a profit. It must be at a profit that is enough for you to recover your losses. What are your losses over here? They refer to the pies that were unsold. So you understand the situation right now? Okay, so calculate the total amount of profit that they made that week. What does profit mean? Profit means the amount of money that you get to keep after you pay off all your costs. Okay, so profit equals to total revenue minus total cost. Okay, revenue. This word revenue, you need to know what it means. It means the amount of money you took in. Okay, so when you go and buy a cheeseburger, you give them $2, right? So they put the $2 in the cash in a machine, and that is their revenue. But after they take the $2, they still need to pay off the money for the bread, pay off money for the patty, and so on and so forth, right? So that $2, you remove all those costs, you're left with maybe 50 cents. Now 50 cents is your profit. Get it? You must know the difference between revenue and profit. So profit is equals to revenue minus cost. So what is the profit? Okay, we can start with the revenue. Let's break them down. Revenue for apples. Apple pies, okay? So how much did he bring in for the sale of the apple pies? Do you know how many apple pies were sold? Do you know? Can you find out? Can, right? Okay, so how many apple pies were sold? 6 out of 7 multiplied by 140. How do you get 140? 70 plus 40 plus 30. So is this the number of apple pies he sold? Are you sure? What? 70, 40, 30. Are you sure is this the number of apple pies sold? Yes or no? Sophie, you say no, right? Why? Huh? This is the amount that's made? No. This 70, 40, and 30 refers to the number of apple pies sold made in a day. Now we are talking about revenue for the apples for how long? 1 day only? Or 1 week? We want 1 week, right? So we still need to multiply this by 7. This is now the total number of apple pies sold. Do you agree? Okay, so this is the total number of apple pies sold. I want the revenue. So number multiplied by the amount of money that it's supposed to collect, right? Okay, how much is the profit for each pie? How much is the profit for each pie? Or rather, how much is it selling one pie for? Wait, I shouldn't be using this. Early on, we already have total cost. Okay, give me a moment. Okay, try. The revenue for the apples is actually 6 out of 7 multiplied by 1260. Okay, this 1260, early on we said is the total cost for making the apple pies, right? For 1 week. So 6 out of 7 times the total cost times 1.4. I multiply this by 1.4 because every pie is sold at a profit of 40%. Okay, so this is our total revenue for apple pies. Agree with this step so far? Jolene, okay? What? 1.4 refers to the 140% of cost price. Okay, how about this? If it is just one pie sold, one pie if it is sold for 75 cents, then here I've got a selling price for one pie, isn't it? Agree so far? Okay, but it is not just one pie, so I still need to multiply by the number of pies, right? In this case, it should have been 70 times 7. Agree? So this is the 490. This is the number of pies. This is the cost of pie. Then you multiply by 1.4, which is 140% in order to get the amount that you are selling it for. Agree so far? Now, instead of 490 pies, I've got much more, isn't it? Because there's small, medium, and large. Although there is small, medium, and large, I'm supposed to add them together. I didn't sell everything, right? So I'm supposed to multiply by 6 out of 7. Okay, so here the number of pies will be 6 out of 7 times the total number of pies. Yes? Correct? Then this 75 is supposed to be the cost. Correct? Only for the small pie. But I'm supposed to include the medium pie. I'm supposed to include the large pies. So all in all, these two portions is supposed to give me the total number of pies made multiplied by the cost. In other words, the total cost to make all the apple pies. Agree? Total cost to make all the apple pies. And we had that earlier on already. See, we said total cost to make all the apple pies is 1260. So instead of many repetitive calculations over here, instead of doing it over and over again, multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply, add, we already had a number from our matrix earlier on. This is 1260. This is the total cost for apple pies. Understand? But because we didn't sell everything, right? So now we multiply by 6 out of 7. So now this doesn't give us the total cost of apple pies already. Now this gives us the total cost of apple pies sold. See the difference? In 1 week. So if this is the total cost of apple pies sold in 1 week, I multiply by 1.4. This will give me the revenue for the apples. Understand? Okay, and this value is 6 divided by 7. 1512 dollars. So this is the revenue for apples. Then the profit for apples must be 1512 minus the cost for apples. How much did he spend on making all the apple pies? 1260. So 252. So you do the same for cherry pies. They add up the profits, you will get the answer of 378. So do the same for our cherry pies. So total profit equals to $378. Okay? I'm not going to spoon feed you everything. Use this opportunity, go back and try doing the same steps to get a profit for cherry pies. Alright? Next. Question 4. Anybody needs help? Yes? For A. Number patterns. There is a formula for number patterns with common difference. Is this a common difference pattern? Yes, because 11, 17, 23, 29. We always add 6. Add 6, add 6. So when it is a common difference question, you must be happy because you can write down the formula straight away. Tn. Tn refers to the nth term. This is known as the first term, second term, third term, fourth term. So I want Tn, where n can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever it is. Okay? So Tn is always equals to T1 plus n minus 1d. Copy this down, highlight this formula. It will always work for common difference question. But you must be able to interpret it. So what is the value for T1? 11, straightforward. Plus n minus 1, nothing to do there. N minus 1. You are looking for the n term. Obviously, the formula must include n somewhere because that is the variable. Now, what does D stand for? Difference. What is the difference over here? 6. Is it positive 6 or negative 6? Positive 6. Because it's getting bigger and bigger, so it is positive 6. If I reverse the pattern, 29, 23, 17, 11, then what is the difference? If I go from big to small, 29, then 23, then 17, then 11. Difference will be negative 6. All you need to do is just change the value for D, and you get the formula again. So now, Sec 1 mathematics. 11 plus 6n minus 6 equals to 6n plus 5. This is the expression for the nth term of the sequence. Once you have this, if you are not confident, just substitute in values. Do a check at the side. When n equals to 1, t1 equals to 6 times 1 plus 5, which is 11. Yeah, it is corresponding to that. Let's try 4. t4 equals to 6 times 4 plus 5, which is 29. Yeah, it's the same. So you can be sure that your formula is correct. Part 2. Explain why it is not possible for a term to be a multiple of 3. Usually, they don't ask this. Usually what they ask will be, explain why Tn is a multiple of maybe 2, for example. Okay? Explain why it's a multiple of 2, assuming it is a different Tn, okay? So what you need to do, for example, in my question, if I say that Tn equals to 2 plus 4n, okay? Suppose this is my Tn. To show that it is a multiple of 2, all you need to do is Tn equals to 2 times of 1 plus 2n. Factorize this multiple out. As long as you can show this, you can conclude that, therefore, Tn is a multiple of 2. Because you have shown that 2 is a factor. Understand? So, if they want you to show that Tn is a multiple of maybe 3, so maybe our Tn is equals to 9 plus 6n over here. So we need to factorize out 3. Put out the 3, 3 plus 2n. Therefore, Tn is a multiple of 3. Understand how it works? To show that it is a multiple. Then if they say, show that it is an even number, what are you going to do? Explain why it is an even number. So for example, this is 14. Okay. So are you able to explain why it's an even number? Can be divided by 2. So factorize 2 out. So 2, 7 plus 3n. So Tn is an even number. Okay? Then how to prove that it's an odd number? Really? Yeah? Divide by 3 means odd number. 6 can divide by 3, right? So is 6 an odd number? So now my question is, explain why this is an odd number. How are you going to do this now? Divide by 3? Well, I already told you that divide by 3 doesn't mean that it's an odd number. Like 12 can divide by 3, right? Then you get 4 but 12 is not an odd number. How do you prove that something is an odd number? Divide by 2. Then, if there's a remainder. So divide by 2, if you got a remainder means it's odd number, right? You understand what she's saying? Then how do we show it? How do we do a divide by 2 and show that there's a remainder? For this case. Got decimal, okay. So let me try factorizing out the 2. What goes into my bracket? 7.5. Okay, let's deal with the 6n first. What goes into the bracket? 3n. Okay, now there's a plus something, right? Instead of plus 7.5, what if I choose to plus 7? Is this still equal to Tn? Is this equal to Tn? It doesn't, right? So what must I do to make it equal to Tn? Add what? Plus how much? 1. Do you understand what's happening so far? Okay. What does this mean now? What does this part give us? Even or odd? Yeah, this part is even because it is 2 times something. As long as it's 2 times something, it must be even, isn't it? So I've got an even portion over here. You add 1 to every even number, what will you get? Odd. Therefore, Tn is an odd number. Okay, so this is how we prove that it is an odd number. Get it so far? Can? Now let's go back to the question. They want you to prove that it is not a multiple of 3. So what do you think you can do? This is Tn. Explain why it is not a multiple of 3. Same concept as our odd number. Okay, so I want to rewrite this. There's obviously a number 3 that I must include. So what is the approach? Divide by 3, okay, so you mean you factorize out 3 lah. Okay, what goes into the bracket? 2n plus. If you plus 2, then you multiply by 3, you get 6 already, which is bigger than 5. Okay, so plus 1. Minus may not be the obvious lah. I mean, mathematically, right, it will still be accepted. But in this case, it's always easier for us to visualize it with an addition. You get a multiple already, then you add in 1, you add in 2, then you know that it's not multiple. But if you want to put 2n plus 2, then after that you minus away 1, it will still work. Okay? So now, 2n plus 1, then what else do I still need to add? Plus 2. So now we can tell that this is a multiple of 3. Correct? Multiple of 3. You plus a 2. Will it still be a multiple of 3? Cannot be. So this must be a this is not a multiple of 3. Can? So this is the working that is required. You can refer to the statement in your answer key. Since Tn equals to this, which is not divisible by 3, then it cannot be a multiple of 3. Okay? That part, you can just copy it down. Now, part B. Does anybody need me to explain? For B. Anybody? For B, so part 1, n term is Tn equals to 4n minus 1 over 205 minus 5n. Tn equals to a certain value. Then part 2, Tk equals to 7 over 32. Find k. Okay. Now part 3 is a standalone. Tn is greater than 1. So 4n minus 1 over 205 minus 5n greater than 1. Do you start off this way? Then what do you do? Why 7 over 32? They are looking for Tn, not Tk. Okay? If you put 7 over 32, then 7 over 32 is less than 1 already, ma. There's nothing for you to do. So for this part, just can I write this 4n minus 1 greater than 205 minus 5n? Can I write this? Why not? Huh? What value? Tn. Do I have Tn here? I mean, this whole thing is Tn. Then why can or why cannot? Basically, what I'm doing over here is I multiply both sides by 205 minus 5n. Can? Why can? You know, when you multiply inequalities by something, right, you need to be careful. What should you be careful of? Whether you are multiplying by negative number, right? If you multiply by negative number, then what happens to the sign? It will change. If you divide by negative number, the sign will change. If it is positive, then no need to change, right? So here you multiply by something. Then you must ask yourself, is this a positive or negative number? Positive or negative? So who is certain that it is positive? Anybody here certain that it's positive? Jianzhou, is it positive? Yes. How you know? How you know it's positive? Huh? The least value of n. So they want a small value of n, right? But do you agree that at some point in time it can be a negative number? Because as our n increases, we are starting to take 205 minus a bigger and bigger number, right? But when n is equals to, for example, 1, am I multiplying by positive or negative number? Multiplying by positive number. When n is 2, 3, 4, even when n is 40, even when n gets to 40, I'm going to take 205 minus 200. Still positive, still quite safe. But the moment my n is equal to 42, then it becomes negative already, okay? So you must know how all these things work. For now, let us assume that it is positive first, because like what Junior said, they are looking for the smallest value for n. So as long as the value of n works out to be less than 41, I'm okay. So multiplying them already, add 5n to both sides, so 9n is greater than 206. n is greater than 206 over 9, n is greater than 22.88. 9. Okay, so least n equals to 23. Now check your work. Did you use inequalities? Or did you use some primary school method, guess and check here and there, that's kind of nonsense? Because you will not be awarded mark if you did that. Okay? Question 5. Anybody needs help? Yes, no? Okay. 5A, okay? 5B? 5B, anybody needs help? Okay. Find the coordinates of vertex A and vertex D. From our question, we have vertex C. So for coordinate geometry, in this case, it happens to be our vector question also. It is always useful to sketch it out to visualize what is happening. X and Y. For C, we've got 3, -1. So 1, 2, 3, and -1. That is my point C. Then we found our position vector of vertex B. For part A, it was -1, 2. So I've got B and C already. Then I need to find A and D. Other information given to me is that AB is 6, 2. AB equals to 6, 2. Meaning from A I go to B. If I go from A to B, I need to move 6 units to the right, and then I need to move 2 units up. Alright, okay, so A lies 6 units to the left of B, 2 units below B. That is what it means. So we can count, or we can use equations to help us. Since I already have OB from part A, OB equals to -1, 2. Okay? Then I can rewrite my AB as AO. Okay, so AB equals to AO plus OB. And AO is simply -OA plus OB. I want to find the vertex of A, means I want to find OA. So OA must be equal to OB minus AB, which is OB, we found it already, -1, 2, minus AB is given to us, 6, 2, which is -7 and 0. Okay? So it must be on this side. A, -7, 0. Then you just check. If I go from A to B, I move 6 units to the right. -7 plus 6, we'll get -1. Then you move 2 units up. From 0, you'll go to 2. So this is my coordinates for A, the vertex for A. So after you get a position vector, it is not enough. You still need to write A equals to -7, 0. Because position vector is different from coordinates. They specifically mention they want coordinates. So part A is, vertex A is done. You do the same for, no, you cannot do the same for vertex D. So let us join up A and B. Since it is a parallelogram, A, B, then the next point must be C. Then we must go to point D. Try and draw it properly. Parallel lines all around. This must be our point D. Now our job is to find the vertex for D, coordinates for D. Properties of a parallelogram. What can you tell me about a parallelogram, Tsulo? Opposite sides are parallel. Since you have already learned vectors, can you tell me something about the vectors in a parallelogram? What is equal to what? Do you see equal vectors in this diagram? No? No equal vectors at all? Cindy, are you able to help her? Are there any equal vectors here? Are there any equal vectors? Yes or no? Yes or no? No equal vectors. Okay, Shufi, what do you think? Are there equal vectors? Where are the equal vectors? AB equals to DC. Mustalifa, why would she think that they are equal? What? Parallel lines? Parallel lines means equal already? What else? Besides they are parallel to each other, meaning in the same direction, what else do I need in order for them to be equal? Hoi, what do you think? Besides parallel. Same? No, that's for collinear. Uma, what do you think? Magnitude. Magnitude and direction. That is what is required for vectors. So AB and DC have the same direction because they are parallel. It is a parallelogram. They have the same magnitude because it is a parallelogram. Opposite sides are equal. So I will be able to write down AB equals to DC. But since I want to find the coordinates for D, I prefer to write CD. Okay? CD equals to BA. Because CD is now going to be broken up to become CO plus OD equals to BA, which we can obtain very easily from AB. So I'll rewrite this to become negative AB. Then OD is what I require, equals to negative AB minus CO, right? Which is the same as OC minus AB, correct? Because negative CO is OC. Now OC is given to be 3, negative 1 minus AB, which we found to be 6, 2. So this 3 minus 6, negative 3, negative 1 minus 2, negative 3. So D equals to negative 3, negative 3. Can? This is how we do it using equations. Now I'll show you visually how to get the same answer for the coordinates for D. Okay, this is a 2-mark question. Mathematically, it is like this. Alternatively, the easier way, to go to point D, you can go from either A or C. Am I right? If I choose to go from A to C, A to D, I move a certain number of units to the right. I move a certain number of units to the right, then I move a certain number of units down. Am I right? Is there any other vector that describes the same thing? Certain number of units to the right, certain number of units down. From which point to which point do we see the same thing happening? From where to where? Move to the right, then move down, you get the final point. B to C. From B to C, we see the same vector to the right and downwards, yes? How many units are we moving from B to C in the right direction? Plus how many to the right? Plus 4. This is plus 4. This must also be plus 4. Okay? So negative 7 plus 4 equals to negative 3. So this must be negative 3. Okay? Now I'm going to move down by how many units? It's the same over here. How many units is this? How many units downwards? 3. 2 plus 1. So this is 3. This must also be 3. You move down by 3 units, what do you end up with? Negative 3. Which one you prefer? This method or the equation method? Huh? This method? Okay, you can go ahead and use it because it's just 1 mark only. But you must still understand what is happening over here because not all the time you'll be able to use this. Next, calculate the angle of BAD. Anybody needs help with this? BAD, angle. Okay. Angle BAD is found here. That's our unknown angle. We can break this down into 2 angles. Angle theta and over here angle alpha, right? So BAD is made of theta plus alpha. Okay, so far? How do we find angle theta? With coordinate geometry, it is very easy because we can use this coordinate over here, which is negative 1, 2. Okay, what is the height of this right angle triangle? Okay, or rather, if that is theta, what is the opposite side? What is the magnitude of the opposite side? How much? You see the triangle? It has a, yeah, it's right angle triangle. Then we're going to use trigo lah. We're going to use trigo. This is the angle theta. What is the side opposite to the angle theta? Huh? The height, right? Okay, what is the value? What's the height? 2 units. So this one over here, 2 units. What about the adjacent? 6? Yes, it is 6 units. Okay, so far? For this particular triangle, I've got a height of 2. I've got a base of 6. Or rather, the adjacent is 6, the opposite is 2. So I can form a trigo equation. Which one should I use? Tangent, sine, or cosine? Tangent, sine, or cosine? Tangent, okay? Tangent theta equals to what over what? So what number over what number? 2 over 6. Means I can find theta already, right? Calculator, do it now. Tangent inverse 2 over 6, which is actually 1 over 3. So 18.435 degrees. Okay, don't round off yet. Now that I have theta, can you use the same approach to find alpha? Yes, okay, please do it now. Form the trigo equation, find alpha.